Bully Bourne, I'm here on behalf of Irish Muscle. We're here at the Neil Help seminar in Extreme Fitness in Derry. Class seminar, really brilliant, very educational, opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I think when I leave here today I'll take a lot of good knowledge with me. Class, really, really brilliant. What do you think of the Derry crowd?
I mean, I thought, like, first of all, I want to say a huge thank you, obviously the gym owners, Jarek and Joan, I really appreciate the fact that they've taken me over here. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to Billy Garnon. Billy's a really good friend of mine with Physique Elite. And, we spoke a few times about me coming over at some point, when it was just right with me when I was going to be in the country, meaning back in the UK, because obviously I travel an awful lot. But I thought the crowds were really, I was quite surprised. It was like, wow, this is pretty impressive, because I don't know how many people were here, but, there looked to be big numbers. But more importantly, there was a lot of, good questions being asked, different, universal questions. So I think that the great thing is when you bring audience participation into play, I think that it broadens the ability to be able to open up and broaden the knowledge to different people. Because ultimately, it's about educating people, and people at different levels and people at different goals of what they're trying to achieve with their bodies or their physiques. Some people are obviously competitive bodybuilders here, some people might be competitive athletes here, some people might be mothers who are just getting back into the gym, and there might be some guys here, for instance, who maybe are just looking to live a healthier lifestyle. So I think that when I put a seminar on, I try to make it educational where it sort of fits everybody then, for instance, yeah?
So you're coaching William Bonac and our great friend over here, James Flex Lewis.
Yeah.
Do you foresee a time when two of them could be standing side by side on stage?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to hit each other in 2016.
Will you have any conflict of interest, maybe?
No, because to be honest with you, the thing is with me and Flex are a very unique team, I would say. We've been together for 11 years, and Flex is more of a family member to me than an athlete. He's a big part of my life, to be honest with you. I got a very, very close loving relationship with Flex on lots of different levels. But I look at him more as, a part of my family, and maybe a son in many ways. And we've been through a lot of different things, obviously, through his career on stage and off stage. We've been through ups and we've been down through some lows. But as a team unit, we're stronger than we ever have been. And I don't see myself ever not working with Flex. He will always be a priority to me as an athlete. I will always put in every single bit of effort and knowledge I have to see him win every show that he competes in. But ultimately, when I prep other athletes who stand on stage, whether it's against him or whether it's with, whether they're amateurs or whether they're in different pro shows, I put the same effort in as far as making sure that they're stage ready and they're their very best. William and Flex have already competed against each other 2 or 3 times. When William was obviously in the same class, Flex took away, the honours in all those shows and has beaten William. With Flex now going into the open class, and William already been in that open class, it's going to be a very, very, very tough call for both those athletes, because I look at William as the Kai Green, all right, but a different kind of Kai Green. And I see Flex as a Phil Heath type of physique, to be honest with you. And don't forget, you might say these things and say, Flex isn't anything like Phil Heath. Flex is 212 pounds. Wait until you see this guy at 220 to 225 pounds. It's going to be a completely different beast. And I think that when those two guys clash against each other, it's going to be flux. But ultimately, it's going to be a really hard and sad moment for me, because ultimately I have 2 athletes which I am very, very committed to. Somebody's going to come first or second, or maybe Flex comes 5th and William comes 3rd, or maybe Flex comes 2nd and maybe William comes 8th,
well,
because there's other athletes in the show as well. But ultimately, I'm very lucky because Flex is not a selfish individual, in a sense that he wants me to progress and do the best that I can do in the industry, and he's in full support of what I do with William or my other athletes. And one thing I really like about the team I have with William and Flex, because I think I've got a really good, the perfect fit now, because I have the beauty and the beast, or I have the elements of a different mass against another type of mass, for instance.
Which one's the beauty and which one's the beast?
Well, I think that Flex is probably the beauty, But William is like a cross between a Sean Ray and a Kai Green. And Sean Ray has got beautiful lines. Like William's got beautiful lines. They're just totally different animals. But what I like about the fact is when Flex was going into this year's Arnold, William was private messaging him nearly every third or fourth day.
That means a lot.
It's fucking everything to me, mate. You know, like William was a big part of, like, you know, Flex, you got to win the show, buddy. You know, we got to do this, like, for team Y3T. Like, we got to do this, like, you know, we're a unit, we're a team. Ultimately, Flex was sending the same kind of vibes back to William for his prep going into the Arnold. So they're both motivating each other. So there's no, you know, is there confliction? Yes. But is it positive confliction? Yes, because ultimately those two guys drive each other in the gym, ultimately. And as I said, at some point they're going to compete against each other. I'm still learning and building that relationship and friendship up with William. I'm sure at some point, you know, it's going to go from an athlete to a coach relationship to a much more meaningful, you know, relationship, for instance. And I like that because I know that I'll get more from my athletes as far as like commitment is concerned when you have that relationship, when it's not just coach and athlete. It becomes more personal because you feel like you've got to deliver. I have to over deliver as a coach because now that that I have like really deep friendships involved, and William probably will feel like he needs to deliver more because of vice versa, for instance. So it's going to be tough and it's going to be hard, but I think that both athletes will definitely benefit from it, personally.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah. As my first interview now, I have to say thank you very much. Not for making me ask loads of questions you don't know what talking. No. Thank you, Nick, on behalf of Irish Muscle. Great having you here. It's been educational. Thank you.
I just want to say, all you guys and girls back home who are checking in on Irish Muscle, this is a great way of getting education, but more importantly, this is a great way to find out what really is going on in the world of bodybuilding, whether it's on Ireland or whether it's overseas, whether it's in the UK. I'm sure a lot of you guys back home, you know, in Ireland and back in the UK are obviously following Body Power as they go into obviously next month's event. You know, Body Power, I think it's like 5 or 6 years strong going into this year, 6 years, and obviously I think that's really exciting for the industry as a whole. And I'm sure you guys will be obviously over there, you know, checking out the athletes and what's new, what's not, what's hot, this year, and hopefully I'll see you guys there.